So I guess that now that we know about the command line, the cmd.exe, how do we use it? Well, for one thing, it's just a really quick way to do something quick, so do something fast. If I just type cmd here in my Windows 10 machine and go here, I can, for example, use a command ipconfig, and I can get my IP address, 10.0.105.255.255.255.0. So it's really handy for these very quick ways to check things. Commands are always one-word commands followed by additional parameters. Now, I didn't give you any additional parameters here, but I could have. You notice that this output is not really particularly large, but watch this, ipconfig, and then I'm going to put a space because ipconfig is the actual command, and now I'm going to add a parameter, and that parameter is all, and you'll see I have a much larger set of output here because it not only tells me my IP addresses, it also tells me, it gives me a lot of information about my IP version 6, DNS servers, it even gives me a hardware address up here somewhere, physical address right here, B42E, and so it gives me a lot more information here with the ipconfig all. So it's just a simple command, one-word command, followed by some additional parameters. Now, if I can't remember what those parameters are, I can use this /?. So let's do this one. Let's go ipconfig /?. And now I can see what all of the options are. I can do /all, /release, and so on, /renew. In fact, that's sometimes a quick troubleshooting method. I can go IP. I'm not going to do it here, but I'll put it up because I will lose my connection here. ipconfig release, and if I do that, it will release my IP address, and then the DHCP server will have to give me another one. And in order to do that, after I do ipconfig release, I would do ipconfig renew. So now this might fix a problem with, say, getting a bad IP address. So that's how the command line is used. Now it's important to know that there are internal and there are external commands. So both command.com and cmd.exe have commands, internal commands built right into it. And I have here a list of those internal commands. Now, of course, they've changed over the years with different versions of the command line, but these are primarily the ones that you'll find today. And you can see there are not that many internal commands that are built into the cmd.exe file, but you don't have to have a separate file in order to run these. And then there are external commands. External commands are actually just applications, but these are applications that only run in the inside the command line shell. So if I try to run it, say here, let's go ipconfig and click that, it runs and then it's gone. And you notice it didn't pop up in a window, a graphical window. It actually only runs inside a command line. Now these external commands are actually files, and you'll find most of them in, let's see here, let's go to C Windows System 32. See Windows System 32. And then we'll go down here, and you notice we have these executable files here. Many of these executable files, if I were to click on them, some would open a graphical user interface, and some would just open a command line. If it only opens a command line, then it's only capable of running inside the command line. So let's go down here and see if we can find the one we were just using. EFGHI. Somewhere down here. There we go. We're getting close now. We should have ipconfig. Oh, I'm still not down far enough, am I? LMNOP. Here it is. ipconfig.exe. So you notice just because it has an executable here does not mean that it opens up in an executable. Now some of these will. Right? I certainly have some things in here that are executable. commands, but many of them are not. Right? Let's see if I can find one that is. And I'm looking for a particular one. Here's one you're familiar with, Notepad. So that is not an external DOS command, because this actually opens a graphical user interface, whereas ipconfig is a command line external command. So these are the external ones, and they are actually just files inside your Windows installation. There are a few that are only available now. These are internal, but they're only available from the recovery disk. So if you have a Windows installation disk and you go into the recovery mode and then call up the command line, you have some commands that are designed to help fix things. For example, fix boot or fix MBR. These things can boot config. These are fixes for maybe the machine not starting well. So we do have a few extra commands that are internal commands, but are not in the standard cmd.exe that we normally run. They're just in a different one that's on the disk instead. Well, that's about it, I think, for how we use these commands. And we'll come back a little bit later and we'll talk about the command line sources in